Guys, thanks for the likes on the last video. It helped us a lot. The goal for this video is 100 likes, and I also ask for help on the secondary channel. We released an unpublished story there, and we also need to reach 100 likes. If you like our stories, please go there too and watch the video and leave your like. This will motivate us even more. The link is the first in the description. That said, let's go to the video.
The Saiyans were warriors who became stronger and stronger. Frieza feared that this would turn against him since he would notice certain maneuvers within his army. When investigating the Saiyans, he would discover that they were planning a rebellion. All this was headed by Bardock, one of the strongest Saiyans of all. Bardock was planning a massive attack on Frieza's forces to destabilize his army, and when Frieza was alone, attack him together. Clearly, Bardock did not know the true strength of Frieza and his transformations. Tomorrow will be the big day. We will attack Frieza's army and we will destroy him, said Bardock. Bardock, I know we can beat them. Together, we are really powerful, said Jean. We just have to destroy his army, and when we face Frieza, use our Osaru forms. King Vegeta taught us a technique to create an artificial moon. With that, we will have victory, said Bardock. So tomorrow will be the big day, said Jean. In Frieza's ship, the evil Emperor would pretend he didn't know anything about it. Tomorrow will be the big day, said Berry Blue. The day the Saiyans will realize their mistake, said Frieza. Don't you prefer to eliminate them now, said Berry Blue. I don't see the need to wait for the soldiers' casualties. That wouldn't be funny. It would be very silent, said Frieza. My soldiers have to know what will happen to the traitors. That's why I'll let them execute their plan, so that everyone can witness how impossible it is to stop my army. I understand. It's a good point, said Berry Blue. Being the strongest in the universe is not enough, Berry Blue. People can get together and put the strongest on their knees. My grandfather made that mistake, and that's why my father had to make a lot of effort to recover the empire, said Frieza. He was the one who designed the concept of an empire by gathering the soldiers to conquer planets. Money is also important because it defines everyone's loyalty. Yes, I understand, said Berry Blue. Tomorrow we will see the dying faces of those Saiyans. The next day would be the famous attack. Bardock would enter with a lot of Saiyans to destroy the facilities. Even so, despite believing that they had the victory to start well at the beginning, everyone would be frustrated with the arrival of the Special Forces Ginyu. It can't be, said Bardock. Hey, they were supposed to be on a mission on the planet Yedrat, said Nappa. I see they fell into our trap, said Captain Ginyu. It doesn't matter, we will defeat them, said Bardock. Bardock, we are divided, said Jean. We can't go alone against them. Bardock would raise his ki to the maximum and would throw everything towards Captain Ginyu. He would connect a strong punch that would make him retreat several meters. Does he really have that speed? Said Recum, disconcerted. You take care of the rest, said Captain Ginyu. The other members of the Special Forces Ginyu would attack the Saiyans, while Captain Ginyu would personally take care of Bardock. After this, the Special Forces Ginyu would quickly defeat the Saiyans and would go for the other groups that were attacking. Over time, the Saiyans would be defeated. Captain Ginyu had Bardock agonizing. He was enjoying how he made him suffer. I have to admit that you are the strongest guy I've ever seen. You could even be one of the members of the Special Forces Ginyu, said Captain Ginyu. I would never do something like that. Now I'll make you pay for what you said, said Bardock. Bardock would begin to increase his ki to a great level. Captain Ginyu would be amazed by what he saw. The great Frieza was right when he took precautions with you, said Captain Ginyu. Both Bardock and Captain Ginyu would throw each other with a punch. But out of nowhere, Frieza would appear. With a finger in each, he would hold the attacks of both as if nothing. Wait, don't kill him. I'm interested in this guy, said Frieza. Disgusting worm, said Bardock. Bardock would attack Frieza with a rain of punches, but Frieza would reject each of his attacks with just one hand. Even so, Bardock did not give up for anything in the world. You have a condition that surpasses the Saiyans. I think I'll use you for something special, said Frieza. Frieza would attack Bardock with his hand. This would stab his chest. Bardock would lose a lot of blood and fall to the ground. Captain Ginyu, take him to the lab, please, said Frieza. I love Frieza. What do you plan to do with him? Said Captain Ginyu. Oh, I'll just play a little with him, said Frieza with a sinister smile. Hours later, we see Bardock in the lab. He was in the hands of Kikono. They worked on him, doing a project. I love Frieza. I have analyzed it in detail. It is possible to create a perfect android, said Kikono. Then it would be stronger than the original, said Frieza. Yes, it would also not have so much energy waste. I can also empty your mind and restart it. It will be like creating another individual with an Aijin body with mechanical parts. Wow, that sounds great, said Frieza. But I'm worried that it will become a problem. Being an android, I can dominate it with a couple of orders. You just have to put a chip on it to prevent it from attacking you and the army. Although he wanted, he will not be able to do it, because the chip will cancel the order. Do it, said Frieza. And do not waste your time.
Kikono would finish working on his project. He would finally create the perfect android. As there was nothing left of Bardock's mind, he would baptize him as Goku. Why did you give him that silly name? Said Frieza. I do not know. It just occurred to me, said Kikono. Goku would wake up without understanding much of what was happening. What is all this? Said Goku, confused. Wow, he even looks very passive, said Frieza. Hi, I'm Goku, and I'm a perfect android, said Goku. Excellent, said Frieza after applauding. Frieza would introduce himself to Goku and guide him in the functions of his army. He would tell him exactly what he was doing and the intentions he had with him. Goku agreed with everything, since after all, it was Frieza's property. In this way, Goku would begin to perform as a soldier of Frieza in search of the conquest of the universe. Little by little, Goku would conquer several planets without any regret in having to kill innocent lives. Even so, he did it with kindness, since he did not have a real awareness that what he was doing was wrong. Goku's power was above the special forces of Ginyu, and that would cause jealousy. I cannot believe that fool took my position as the strongest man after Frieza, said Captain Ginyu. Captain Ginyu, do not get nervous. Frieza supports us anyway, said Jace. And if we are no longer necessary, said Burner. Do not say nonsense. The great Frieza would never discard us, said Gordo. Even so, I am not satisfied with this. I think we should take care of him, said Captain Ginyu. One day, Goku was invading a planet. He had just defeated all the soldiers present, trying to damage the planet as little as possible. As Frieza had indicated, the less damage the planet had, the more money it would sell. Well, I think that's all, Goku would say. Now, just clean up a bit, disarm what is left, and warn Frieza. The Special Forces Ginyu would arrive. Each of them would arrive in an individual ship to pass unnoticed. They would find Goku's ship. That was a large ship to travel comfortably. Captain Ginyu would attack the ship, destroying it completely. Goku would hear the explosion from afar. What was that? Goku would say, confused. Goku would rise to the top of the sky, watching the explosion of his ship. It cannot be, Goku would say. Captain Ginyu, it's time to go, Gordo would say. Yes, let this planet explode by itself, Captain Ginyu would say. Captain Ginyu would support his hand on the ground. It would create a key explosion direct to the core of the planet. Waves of lava would come out of the ground while strong earthquakes were generated. The Special Forces Ginyu, without a doubt, would leave before the planet exploded completely. Goku would arrive just in time to recognize the ships. Why did they do that? Goku would say. The lava jets were getting more and more pronounced. The planet was about to explode, and Goku did not have his ship to escape. It's amazing, Goku would say, annoyed. Goku would rise to the top of the sky, knowing that there was nothing to do. The planet would explode with him inside.
The Special Forces Ginyu laughed for their victory. That was great. The Special Forces Ginyu do not allow themselves to be overcome by a stupid android, Captain Ginyu would say. Hours later, Frieza would receive the news that the planet that Goku was conquering had just exploded. How is that possible? Frieza would say, annoyed. Goku will have to give me a serious explanation for all this. It seems that Goku was inside the planet at the time of the explosion, Berry Blue would say. Is that true? Frieza would say. Well, we lost communication with his ship just before the explosion, Berry Blue would say. Before the explosion, Frieza would say. I love Frieza, he would call Kikono by pointing to the window. There would be Goku without clothes. He was floating in space and greeting with an ear smile. What the hell is this? Frieza would say, disconcerted. Goku would enter the ship, and they would give him clothes. There, he would tell Frieza what he had seen. You say you conquered the planet, and that the Special Forces Ginyu destroyed your ship? Frieza would say. Yes, that's right, Goku would say. And why did the planet explode? Frieza would say. I don't know. They began to come puddles of lava everywhere, and there were strong earthquakes. I tried to escape into space as quickly as I could, but the explosion reached me. It did not hurt me much, but it destroyed my uniform, Goku would say. I understand why you tell me someone attacked the core of the planet, Frieza would say. Can that be done? Goku would say. It's a little trick to destroy your enemy if you don't know where it is. The effect is somewhat late, ideal for escape. And the most curious thing of all is that was taught to a person, Frieza would say, seriously. Call Captain Ginyu right now. The Special Forces Ginyu would arrive making a reverence. I love Frieza. We came as soon as he called us, Captain Ginyu would say. That was fast. As fast as when they escaped from the planet that exploded with Goku inside. Sir, I don't know what you were talking about, Captain Ginyu would say, terrified. I saw them when they fled, Goku would say when he pointed out. Goku, Captain Ginyu would say. Everyone was truly terrified. So they destroyed the planet that Goku conquered, Frieza would say, and with him inside. Do you realize how much money I lost with that? I love Frieza. Can you explain it? Captain Ginyu would say. Do it,
Frieza would say. Even so, Captain Ginyu would not find a way to get rid of that situation. After taking several seconds to answer, Frieza would kill him with a key laser directly in his heart. That happens to traitors, Frieza would say seriously. Then Frieza would destroy the other members of the Special Forces Ginyu. Goku, now you will take care of their tasks, Frieza would say. Sure, don't worry. I can do it better than them, Goku would say, determined. With Goku being Frieza's right hand, he would conquer several planets. He would become very popular, like the Dark Saiyan, with an unparalleled power. While Goku terrified everyone, Frieza was very comfortable in his ship, enjoying the comforts. Who was going to say that my best soldier does not get paid? Frieza would say. Things are working very well with Goku as the main soldier, Berry Blue would say. They do more than the Special Forces Ginyu. He does not earn money for it, and he hardly needs resources. He even manages to survive in space. Kikono is proud of that invention, Frieza would say. He knew it would be a good idea to use the body of Bardock for something. Great, Frieza. Speaking of that, there is a mysterious planet called Earth that has not yet been conquered, Berry Blue would say. What do you mean by that? Frieza would say. That all attempts to conquer it have failed, Berry Blue would say. It is supposed to be a planet of humans without power. It can't be that difficult, Frieza would say. Well, that's what happens. The planet is not worth much, but it is intriguing how they managed to stop all the soldiers. Maybe he is interested in sending Goku, Berry Blue would say. Goku would be a waste, but anyway, Frieza would say. I think Goku is free. Frieza would call Goku. He would give him the mission to invade Earth. He would explain to me that it was a very important mission because all the soldiers lost their lives on arrival. Wow, it seems to be a hostile place, Goku would say.
It is supposed to be an undefended planet, but none of us return. It will be better to go as soon as possible, Goku would say. Remember, Goku, destroy as little as possible, Frieza would say. As you say, Goku would say. Goku would travel to Earth without delay. He was ready to conquer the planet. At first glance, it looked like a peaceful planet. He couldn't find powerful subjects with his radar. Wow, what a scam. It is supposed that there were strong subjects here. Goku would say, I always wanted to fight someone for real, but I see that I can't do it here. Goku would start inspecting the planet in search of the most powerful warriors. His fight would be somewhat long, since he couldn't find anyone. Or this radar broke down, or nobody came to conquer it, Goku would say. Goku would communicate with Frieza. Hey, tell me if Earth is the planet B123K Alpha, Goku would say. Yes, that's it, Frieza would say. What happens? Well, I traveled the planet and my radar does not detect anything, Goku would say. Is this really Earth? Goku, are you stupid? Of course it is Earth. Just be careful. If you can't detect anyone, maybe they have advanced technology, Frieza would say. Well, here the sky is blue and there's a lot of green, Goku would say. Then destroy something out there. Call attention. Maybe use some anti-tracking system, Frieza would say. Okay, Goku would say. Goku would go to the first city he found, and there he would attack them with a ki beam. All the inhabitants would die, out of nowhere. In the Capsule Corporation, Bulma would find out about the massacre. It can't be, what's going on now, Bulma would say. Bulma would look with her satellite cameras, watching Goku. Another fool from Frieza's army, Bulma would say. It can't be. At any moment, Frieza himself will come. Piccolo would arrive after the alarm. What is all this scandal? Piccolo would say. Another alarm. Another of Frieza's soldiers came to attack Earth, Bulma would say. Dan, those worms don't stop, Piccolo would say. I'll have to look for him myself to cut that fool Frieza into pieces. Please, Piccolo, go get him, Bulma would say. There is something strange about that guy, Piccolo would say. Piccolo would point at Goku on the monitor. Why is he staying there after destroying the city? Piccolo would say, suspecting something. Maybe it's because the attack is to call attention, Bulma would say. Well, he did it, Piccolo would say.
Piccolo would raise his ki and fly out of there at great speed. He had generated such a powerful wind that he shook everything inside the lab. Oh my God, Piccolo. I told you not to go out like that, Bulma would say, furious, although Piccolo no longer heard her from a distance. While Goku waited, he would detect Piccolo's power. Wow, someone with a fighting power of 3,500, Goku would say. It's still very little. It's the average of weak soldiers. Piccolo would finally arrive. He would see Goku there as if nothing. Hey, Harry, did you make this mess? Piccolo would say. Hi, my name is Goku, and I'm a perfect android at Frieza's service, Goku would say. Yes, I know that, Piccolo would say. How do you know? Goku would say. Because I can't feel your ki. You look like a machine. You also wear Frieza's army uniform, Piccolo would say. So you were the one who killed all the soldiers, Goku would say. Goku looked very docile despite arriving with the intention of conquering Earth. Hey, you're weird, Piccolo would say. Well, I'm an android, Goku would say. My anger doesn't seem to be strong. Could you call the guy who destroyed the other soldiers? I'm very interested in fighting him. Piccolo would start laughing with pride. Idiot, you're talking to him, Piccolo would say. No, you're lying, Goku would say. You have a fighting power of 3,500. 3,500? Piccolo would say. Piccolo would pay attention to the radar that Goku had in his eye. I see. You have one of those artifacts that measure energy, Piccolo would say. With this, I can know the level of fight of living beings. This energy doesn't change much. You won't be able to raise that number more than 10%. So don't make me waste my time. I want to fight with the strong guy, to conquer this planet and leave once and for all, Goku would say. Well, if that's what you want, Piccolo would say. I'll show you that you're wrong. Piccolo would take off his cape and hat. When he dropped it to the ground, his weight would be noticed by how he overwhelmed the ground. What a weight of training, Goku would say. That sounds interesting. Goku would tell me his fighting power. Now, he scored 4,200. 4,200? Goku would say, disappointed. It's not a big deal. 4,200, Piccolo would say in a mocking way. Now I'll show you what 4,200 is. Piccolo would begin to raise his ki little by little. Goku's radar would begin to increase its readings. 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, 11,000, 15,000, Goku would say, while he appreciated Piccolo's great power. When it reached 400,000, the radar would explode. Surprising! You have more than 400,000 fighting power. It's great, Goku would say, excited. This guy seems a little stupid, I would think of Piccolo, not understanding Goku's behavior. You're very interesting. Tell me, how much is your fighting power? Because the radars only measure up to 400,000. Maybe 500,000? 600,000? Goku would say. Hey, I don't handle that. Don't be stupid, Piccolo would say, annoyed. Piccolo would undoubtedly throw everything at Goku. He would reach him with a strong punch that would throw him away. Goku would come out rolling, scraping his body against the ground. Even so, in an acrobatics he would stand up again. Wow, you must not be an ordinary subject. The rest of those fools died in one blow, Piccolo would say. Yes, you're right. You're very strong, Goku would say. The truth is that I have to thank you, because thanks to you, I will be able to prove my true potential. You speak like a braggart, Piccolo would say in a bad mood. No, I mean it. I could never fight seriously, and it's something I'm interested in trying, Goku would say. Goku would raise his power to the maximum. Although Piccolo could not feel that, in him, he would notice an enormous energy. This has to be a joke, Piccolo would say, disconcerted. What kind of android is this? Very good. Here I go, Goku would say. Goku would arrive with a fist bow. Piccolo would dodge him by little. It's fast, Piccolo would think. Then Goku would attack him at full speed. Piccolo should dodge, even if it was costing him. What kind of subject is this? Piccolo would think. In a moment, Goku would connect a strong fist bow to Piccolo. In response, Piccolo would connect the same attack. After this, both would begin to exchange blows wildly. Piccolo and Goku would move everywhere, showing their great abilities. Both gave everything. A combat show. Goku looked really happy to finally have a worthy rival, while Piccolo was nervous.
He had never seen someone so strong. Unlike Goku, he fought to defend the Earth, not for pleasure. In a moment of combat, Piccolo would throw Goku away. In that, both take distance. Goku and Piccolo would attack each other with hundreds of attacks from a distance. It's amazing that he has this kind of power, but the strangest thing is that he doesn't seem to get tired of anything, Piccolo would think. Hey, you're not doing anything wrong. I think you're a Namekian. We haven't visited your planet yet, Goku would say. Hey, is it a threat? Piccolo would say. Threat? What do I gain from that? Goku would say. You're trash. You're threatening to destroy my race. You have no heart, Piccolo would say. What do you mean by having a heart? Goku would say, confused. You're an evil guy. That's what I say, Piccolo would say. Hey, don't say that's not true, Goku would say, upset. I'm not evil. I only follow my creator's orders. Creator? Piccolo would say. We've talked too much. We better keep fighting, Goku would say. As you wish, Piccolo would say. But now, I'll fight seriously. What? Goku would say. Piccolo would begin to increase his ki beyond his limits. The veins in his body would stand out. The tone of his skin would become lighter, while his size grew slightly. Piccolo had just used the orange mode. A transformation? Goku would say. Are you a Super Namekian? Scared, Piccolo would say. Not even a little, Goku would say. As if nothing, Piccolo was facing Goku before he reacted. He would hit him hard with a knee in his stomach that would leave him hunched. Goku could hardly move. "How is it possible?" Goku would say, disconcerted. Then Piccolo would knock Goku down with a hammer blow. Goku would hit the ground hard. He would be really hurt. He could hardly move. "What happened, bald-headed? I thought you wanted to fight someone strong," Piccolo would say. "Me?" Goku would say. "It's a lot. I guess he doesn't care. I have to kill you. People with evil like you don't deserve to live," Piccolo would say. "You can kill me, but I'm not an evil person," Goku would say, determined. Piccolo would observe Goku seriously. He would notice something special in the determination of his gaze. "So it is," Piccolo would say. Without warning, Piccolo would step on Goku's face. He would leave him unconscious, but he wouldn't dare to kill him. He noticed that Goku was not fully aware of his actions. In this way, Piccolo would take Goku and take him to the Capsule Corporation. "What are you doing here?" Bulma would say, terrified. "I only brought him to fix his head," Piccolo would say. "You're crazy. That guy is very strong. Kill him," Bulma would say. "Bulma is an android and has no malice. He does things because he was programmed for it," Piccolo would say. "But it's dangerous," Bulma would say. "I was too," Piccolo would say. "I terrorized this planet before merging with Kamisama. They gave me a chance, and here I am saving the Earth every time it needs it. So I'm going to ask you a favor. Fix him right now. If I don't, I'll give you another beating." "Okay, but you better stay close," Bulma would say. "I don't want you to wake up from nothing." Frieza was waiting for news from Goku, but he didn't communicate. He couldn't believe he was defeated. It doesn't make sense for someone like him to lose. Furious, Frieza would say. Berry Blue and Kokono feared the fury of the evil emperor. "Maybe we should send you explorers," Kokono would say. "They would also be exterminated," Frieza would say. "If it were up to me, I would destroy that planet from a distance, but I'm curious to know who was able to defeat it. Let's wait a little longer. Maybe he just fell asleep or didn't communicate," Berry Blue would say. "Whatever," Frieza would say. Bulma was completely reviewing Goku. Her composition seemed strange to her. It was full of mechanical parts, but it still had many biological parts. "This guy is the reconstruction of another living being," Bulma would say. "It's fascinating." Then Bulma would scan her spinal cord. There, she would see a chip that would attract her attention. "Why would she have a chip like that?" Bulma would say. Bulma would carefully analyze the chip. She would realize that it was a kind of inhibitor. By being able to connect to the computer, she would access a database. "I can't believe it," Bulma would say. Bulma would call Piccolo as soon as possible to show her her discovery. On the computer monitor, you could see the image of Frieza. "What is that thing?" Piccolo would say. "It seems to be the leader of an interstellar organization," Bulma would say. "This is the most curious."
Goku was programmed to obey all his orders and not attack him. "Wait a minute. This makes sense," Piccolo would say, disconcerted. Piccolo would remember the conversation he had with Goku, where he told him that he was not a bad guy, but that he only obeyed orders. "Now everything makes sense," Piccolo would say. Piccolo would explain to Bulma the words he had with Goku. They would come to the same conclusion. Goku was not bad by himself, he was just programmed. "I can take away any type of programming," Bulma would say. Really? Piccolo would say. Yes, I will leave him as an independent being, Bulma would say. I cannot guarantee that he is a good person or not, but from now on his actions will be under his free will. Hours later, Goku had just woken up. He would realize that he was in some unknown place. What is this place? I thought I would be dead, Goku would say. Goku would leave the bed while Piccolo and Bulma watched him. So, you woke up with your hair up, Piccolo would say. Hey, do you want to fight again? Goku would say. Piccolo would make a high signal. Strangely, Goku would remain motionless. Our fight is over. We can repeat it at another time if you wish, Piccolo would say. But, Goku would say, I do not understand. Did you want to kill me? I believed you when you said you were not a bad guy and you only obeyed orders, Piccolo would say. Good, then I can invade this planet, Goku would say. It cannot be, Piccolo, I told you, Bulma would say. Hey, shut up, Piccolo would say to Bulma. Did I say something wrong? Goku would say. I knew it. He has no notion of evil, Piccolo would think. Piccolo would talk a little to Goku, making him aware of everything. He would explain that they had examined him and that he was an android. He was clear about it. But what he did not know was the fact that he was programmed to attack Frieza. I see. Frieza is very strong. He is the strongest being in this universe. But why don't you want me to attack him? Goku would say. Heavens, are you really so naive? Bulma would say. What do you mean by that? Goku would say, confused. Nothing, Bulma would say. Now, my question is, what will happen to Frieza now that you have not conquered the Earth? Piccolo would say. Frieza wants to conquer all planets. He sells them at a good price to other races, but those races are still under his command. Some planets that he does not like, he destroys them. He always orders to conquer them without causing damage to sell them more expensive, Goku would say. If it is what I believe, he will destroy this planet. He does not like to spend resources on poor or conflicting planets. Wait, are you going to destroy us? Bulma would say. Well, if I don't conquer this planet, yes, Goku would say. By the way, heavens, I don't have my communicator with him. Should I hurry? Goku would say. Wait, do you like to hurt people? Piccolo would say. Well, Goku would say. Goku would be thoughtful. He had changed something inside him. Things were no longer as before. Goku would touch his hair. He would feel a strong anguish, but a new feeling for him. Why does my chest hurt and it's hard for me to breathe? I would say. Goku. Heavens, it is as if something made me a knot in my throat. You are experiencing the guilt, I would say. Bulma. Guilt, I would say. Goku. That's it, I would say. Piccolo. It cannot be. This feels horrible. What did they do to me? I would say. Goku. We gave you freedom, I would say. Bulma. Now you are responsible for your actions and you can do whatever you want. I did not want freedom. I just wanted to fight with strong people, I would say. Goku. Goku would raise his kis, he would fly out of there. I can't believe it, I would say. Bulma. I think we have to leave him alone, I would say. Piccolo. You had to eliminate him. That subject is dangerous, I would say. Bulma. No, I don't know who Frieza is and possibly you need help against him, I would say. Piccolo. What are you talking about? You really think he will help us? I would say. Bulma. Just let his guilt act, I would say. Piccolo. Goku would go back to his ship. He was ready to leave and give a report. He would communicate with Frieza, who, when he saw him well, would reason for his delay. That is supposed to happen with you, I would say.
Frieza, I am waiting for you to conquer that planet. Well, I would say, Goku. Goku, never before I saw you doubt before answering what is happening to you. Because I can't fight with you, I would say, Goku. That, I would say, Frieza, disconcerted. You know, I just realized that I like to fight with strong people and you are a strong person, but I never thought about fighting with you, I would say. Goku, I want to fight with you. You must be a formidable opponent. What do you say? Frieza would observe Kikono with hate. He had realized that the chip that prevented Goku from attacking Frieza.
Attacking Frieza did not work. Goku, my dear Goku, in another moment we will fight. Now I need you to conquer that planet for me, please. I would say Frieza, you do not want to fight with me. I would say Goku, something sad tomorrow. Now go. I would say Frieza, great. I would say Goku. Goku would cut the communication while Frieza would make a dark expression. Kikono, you can explain to me what happened. I would say Frieza for sure. The chip stopped working, but it is not my fault. I know I did it well. I would say Kikono, great Frieza. Considering that the Earth has eliminated all the soldiers, it would not be feasible to think that Goku was defeated and removed the chip. I would say very blue Frieza would get up with violence from his seat. He was really furious. That would be a great possibility. I would say Frieza annoying. It's over. I'm going to destroy the Earth. But and Goku, I would say very blue. I already played too much with him. I also have almost the entire universe conquered. I would say Frieza. Frieza would approach the Earth while Goku was traveling the planet. I knew I should conquer it, but doubts would arise in his mind now that he was not under the control of Frieza. He would begin to feel empathy for the living beings. I cannot believe that he has done this for so long. That means that Frieza is a bad guy, and me too. No, I was not programmed, it was not my fault, Goku would say. Goku continued with his existential crisis while Frieza was getting closer and closer. He would notice that Goku had not yet returned, so he would decide to put an end to all this. It is a pity, but you got here, Goku, Frieza would say. Frieza would create a ball of ki in the sky. It looked from the Earth like a second sun. Piccolo had managed to perceive the great ki of Frieza, and he would see that energy nothing to impact on Earth. That great needle, Piccolo would say from afar. Frieza would make the great ball of ki grow. He would throw it against the Earth. Frieza, you are a bastard, Goku would say, ready to try to stop her. But he would see Piccolo fly at full speed towards her. Piccolo, Goku would say. Piccolo would raise his ki to the maximum. He would reach the great ball of ki. He would begin to resist it. Demons, this thing carried a lot of energy from space, Piccolo would think. Piccolo would use his orange form, and thanks to that, he would be able to return it to space. Frieza would see how the great ball of energy passed to none of him. Everyone in Frieza's ship were bewildered by what they saw. It is not true, Frieza would say. Great Frieza, there really is a very strong thing there, Barablu would say. Could it have been Goku? Frieza would say. That fool opposes me. Let's say he was saving his life, Kikono would say. Don't be an idiot. Goku is an android. He is protecting the planet. Frieza would go into space and would let himself fall directly on the ground, being trapped by his gravity. After this, he would arrive a few seconds later. Piccolo would not hesitate to go after him. Moments later, we see Piccolo and Frieza face to face. With what a Namekian, Frieza would say. I did not know that your race had arrived on this planet. You must be that Frieza, Piccolo would say. It is strange that you recognize me, Frieza would say. Although I am known to be the Emperor of the universe, people do not usually know my appearance. Let me tell you that you are uglier than I thought, Piccolo would say. Oh, insults, what are we going to play with that, Frieza would say. Tell me, you were the one who deflected my attack? Yes, it was me, and for attacking the Earth, I am forced to eliminate you, Piccolo would say when he puts himself on guard. It is strange. The Namekians, although they are warriors, they are usually peaceful. But this one has something special. It seems to be someone carved for war, Frieza would think. What did you do to Goku? Frieza would say. Do you mean your toy? I did it well, Piccolo would say. So it was you, Frieza would say when he imagined it. Listen, I'm tired of your soldiers coming to invade this planet, so I won't waste time with you. I'll finish you now to save the Earth and end all these evils, Piccolo would say. Don't think you are stronger than me, Frieza would say. Out of nowhere, Piccolo would reach Frieza with a strong kick in his chest.
He would throw him away, destroying his uniform. Frieza would roll several meters on the ground, feeling an important pain. He never would have believed that someone like Piccolo was capable of hurting him. "This doesn't make sense," Frieza would say with difficulty in speech. "Wow, looking at you that way, you seem weaker than Goku," Piccolo would say. "This will be bread eaten." "Idiot, you have no idea what my true power is," Frieza would say. Frieza would begin to raise his ki. He would transform in his last form. Piccolo was amazed by what he saw. He could see all that energy around Piccolo. Despite not having the ability to feel his ki, that was enough to understand that he was an extremely strong subject. "Now I understand why you defeated Goku," Frieza would say. "I never thought that was the true form of Frieza. This fight will be interesting," Goku would say. Piccolo would throw everything towards Frieza, arriving with a strong blow. The Emperor of Evil would block the attack. A thunder would be caused thanks to that direct contact. "I can't believe it, that energy was amazing," Goku would say disconcerted. "Those two are titans. Not bad, Namaki, but it is not enough," Frieza would say. Frieza would hit Piccolo in the face, throwing him away. The Namaki would roll several meters on the ground. After that, the Demon of the Cold would follow Piccolo, and when he arrived, he would attack him with a series of consecutive blows, one after another, without rest. The fight would be deadly. Piccolo had no rest. He could not against Frieza's attacks. The Emperor of Evil surpassed him in strength and speed. "Wow, not bad. You are resistant," Frieza would say, and throw Piccolo away with a kick. "Another subject would have died from just one blow, but you are still standing. Now I understand how you defeated all my men and defeated Goku. Shut up. Your voice is annoying," Piccolo would say. Piccolo would throw a rain of Tekki balls towards Frieza, but he would dodge each of the attacks, moving from side to side. Then Piccolo would throw everything towards Frieza. He would try to attack him, but despite his final form and great power, he could not do it. Piccolo's attacks were useless against the Cold Demon. "It cannot be true. What kind of subject is this?" Piccolo would think. Goku could not see how Frieza hurt Piccolo. He felt empathy for him. For the first time, he suffered when witnessing the suffering of others. Piccolo did everything possible to defend the Earth, but Frieza's level was beyond his abilities. At one point, Piccolo would throw a punch, but Frieza would block the attack. After holding him in a simple movement, he would tear his arm. Piccolo would scream in pain. "I'm sorry, I think this was yours," Frieza would say. Frieza would throw his arm at Piccolo. "Take it back, but don't lose it," Frieza would say. Piccolo would make a great effort and manage to regenerate his arm. "Oh, how useful," Frieza would say. "Unfortunately, I will not let you live." Piccolo knew that he did not have a chance, but he had a way to face him. Frieza would point to Piccolo, pointing at him with a ki laser. But before he could perform his attack, he would feel the impact of a ki ball on his back. The blow had been insignificant. It had not done the slightest damage to him. When he turned around, he would see him. It was Goku. "What the hell did you just do?" Frieza would say. "Frieza, enough," Goku would say. "I am no longer controlled by you. Now I understand everything, idiot. You have to leave this planet. You will not have any chance against him," Piccolo would say. "No, I will not go," Goku would say. "Frieza, I know you are very strong, but I will not let you hurt this planet. For a long time, I was just a tool for you. You used me for your atrocities, but now that I have feelings, I am willing to fix my mistakes by eliminating you. And what are you going to do?" Frieza would say. Goku would throw everything at Frieza. He would reach him with a strong fist blow. Even so, he would not do the slightest damage. Then Goku would attack Frieza with a rain of fist blows. The blows resonated in Frieza's skin without doing the slightest damage. "What a waste of time," Frieza would say. Frieza, from a simple slap, would throw Goku away. He would stay on the ground, almost unable to move. "All he did was a pathetic scene," Frieza would say. Goku would stand up with great difficulty. Despite the great difference in power, he was not willing to give up. "I do not understand it. What is it that drives him to be here?" Piccolo would think. When he was under the control of Frieza, he did not care about the consequences of invading a planet. However, now he is here fighting with everything. Does consciousness make him weigh all his sins?
"Do you really think you're capable of doing something to me?" Frieza would say. "Please, you make me waste my time. You're just the toy I made from a very strong Saiyan, but you're nothing more than that." Frieza would say Goku out of himself. For a moment, Frieza would see in Goku that expression of Bardock that would cause him great anger. "You don't want to get rid of me?" Frieza would say. Frieza would launch a key attack at Goku, but he would reject the attack as if nothing. "What is happening?" Piccolo would say. "How did you do that?" Piccolo would say, confused. Not even Goku was aware of what was happening. He simply reacted by instinct. At the moment, Frieza would perform another key attack, but Goku would also reject it. Frieza was really confused by what he witnessed. Suddenly, small flashes of electric current would surround Goku. A lot of energy would come out of his body. All the victims that Goku had charged in the past now tormented him in his mind. But deep down in his heart, he knew that it was only a tool of Frieza. The real killer was him, the Emperor of Evil. After this, Goku would scream, performing a great explosion of ki. Frieza would move away from there to take distance. Goku's hair would shine with a very particular gold at the same time that his eyes became celestial. "Why do I feel that I lived this before?" Frieza would say, disconcerted. Goku had just transformed into a Super Saiyan. That skull imitated my transformation, but I wonder if his power will be worth something, Piccolo would think. Piccolo would move away from there slowly, understanding that the turn of the combat now was for Goku. "Hey, where are you going?" Furious Frieza would say. "It's the turn of standing hares, not mine," Piccolo would say. Goku would throw himself with everything towards Frieza, coming with a strong punch that would knock him down. Frieza would fall several meters away without understanding what was happening. At the instant, he would stand up ready to continue battling. "I can't believe it. Where did you get this power?" Frieza would say. "Of the hatred that I have for you," Goku would say. Goku would throw himself at Frieza again. Both would clash their arms with each other. Then they would exchange blows at an extraordinary speed while they moved everywhere. Piccolo could not believe what he was seeing. The strength of those two was something out of his imagination. "Trusting Goku was the best decision I made," Piccolo would say. "Now that fool will take care of Frieza." The battle was full of tension while the entire planet resonated before the powers of both. Frieza and Goku were exactly at the same level. The Emperor of Evil could not believe how someone was able to be so strong, even to rival his last form. "That someone like you do this is an insult," Frieza would say. "I will finish you anyway." At one point, both Goku and Frieza would hit each other in the face, mutually throwing themselves away. Both would take distance and prepare to continue fighting. "Frieza, I will destroy you. I am no one's toy," Goku would say. "For your information, I used to break my toys as a child," Frieza would say. Piccolo watched the fight, ready to act in case something happened. "If at some point Goku is so tight, I will have no choice but to intervene. After all, I am the one who can tie all this apart," Piccolo would think. The fight would continue, without being clear who had the advantage. Both Goku and Frieza connected devastating attacks from one to the other. Both used all their techniques and skills, giving their best. But in that way, the fight would extend. After several minutes, we see Frieza and Goku taking a breath. They had spent too much energy. "I cannot believe it. This guy is at my level. What would have happened if his awakening had been at another time with more power?" Frieza would think. "I have to defeat him. I cannot let anyone humiliate the great Frieza." At one point, Frieza would throw himself like a torpedo towards him. He would crash into him, throwing him away. Then Frieza would create a great ki ball the size of his body and throw it. Still, Goku would hit the great ki ball, causing a great explosion that would not really hurt him. "You are stupid. You just received the direct impact," Frieza would say. "I'm already getting bored of this fight. Let's finish once and for all," Goku would say. Goku would take his hands forward in a strange position. Then he would take them back. He would accumulate here in his hands, preparing his best attack. "What are you going to do?" Frieza would say. "Kamehameha," Goku would say. "Hey, what is that?" Frieza would say. "Kamehameha," Goku would say when accumulating a great amount of energy. "So you want to finish with this now? I'll give you the pleasure of defeating you," Frieza would say. Frieza would join his hands, also accumulating energy. "Ho!" Goku would scream, launching his attack. Goku would launch his Kamehameha with everything. Frieza would respond with his ki attack. Both powers would impact each other, beating each other in a duel.
Goku and Frieza used all their energies. The victory depended on this movement. "Come on, Goku, you can," Piccolo would say. "This bastard cannot have my level," furious Frieza would say. Little by little, the attack of Frieza would take advantage. He would get closer to Goku. Goku gave it all and did not allow the evil Emperor to beat him. Goku would scream, raising his power to the maximum, his ki would rise, and his Kamehameha would take on more size. In an instant, Goku's Kamehameha would swallow Frieza's attack, the evil Emperor would receive the attack completely, Frieza would disappear, while Goku would lose the Super Saiyan and fall on his knees. "He did it," Piccolo would say disconcerted. "At last, I won," Goku would say. Piccolo would go for Goku. "Goku, you really beat him," Piccolo would say. "The truth is that yes," Goku would say. "He almost beat me. He was on my limit." "You are a bastard. You imitated my transformation," Piccolo would say. "Well, I have to thank you. If it weren't for the fight I had with you, I would never have considered that transformation," Goku would say. "It's simpler than it seems. It's adapting the body to a great expense of energy, but in a balanced way. I didn't understand anything that you said, but coming from an android, you must understand it better than me," Piccolo would say.
Goku would stand up. Both would stretch their hands in peace. But no one expected Piccolo to receive a ki attack. Frieza would pierce him from side to side. "Piccolo?" Goku would say, terrified. We see Frieza return with his body losing blood. He had not yet been defeated. "Damn android of garbage," Frieza would say. "Garbage me, garbage you. You are going to pay me." Goku would say, "The battle has not yet ended." Although both were at the limit, Piccolo was seriously injured and it was not clear if he was alive or not. What could happen now that Goku and Frieza fight to death? Can Goku beat the Emperor of Evil? And also, what will happen with all this that will happen? We will know all that in the next part of this theory. Friends, I hope you have loved the movie of Goku Terrifies the Gods with his perfect android form. Remember that if you want to see more parts of this theory, this video has to reach 200 likes, many comments, and subscribe for more theories. See you in the next video.